So in 1967, that's 7 years after Nigeria's independence, Chinua Achebe said that being in Nigeria is abysmally frustrating and also exciting. And you see, years after, the situation has not changed, still the same thing. Though we celebrate 25 years of uninterrupted democracy, but Nigeria continue to grapple with some challenges that include electoral issues, cases around malpractice, vote buying, amongst other issues. Corruption is also one of it. While we celebrate this uninterrupted democracy, Nigerians have a lot of questions to ask as regards dividends of democracy, like where is the liberty, where is equitability, where are all of these things that characterize what democracy is. So while the economy continue to suffer and people grapple with issues of unemployment, poverty, for some people now on a lighter note, while they go into relationship just for food, but how do we help this situation as we look at Nigeria 25? Engineer Tony Jane Kali is here, Jamima and Sambo Solomon. Nigeria 25.
Jemima, welcome to the show. Jemima, welcome to the
Democracy.
Yesterday I was unable to make it for the show. I was with my boyfriend. I'm sorry. How did it go?
It went well.
So what did you eat?
Yeah?
What did you eat there?
He gave me coke and bread.
Relationship for food.
Since morning. I thought we were talking about Nigeria, but since they brought the relationship into it, let me start the opening by what I went through yesterday. They gave me coke and bread. That they are ordered food since till I left.
Oh, no.
6:30. 6:30. Not 6:30. 6:30. No food.
14 years in prison.
Joyce, you are welcome to the show.
Sorry.
I don't understand. I'm not a visitor now.
Okay. Me, I was not here yesterday. That's why I'm welcoming you.
Okay. Anyways, thank you.
Me, ma, I didn't come.
Thank you. It feels exciting to be here. You know,
Nigeria at what?
at 25, uninterrupted democracy. You know, Wednesdays we actually talk about relationship, and I know a lot of people out there will be expecting. Please, can you leave this democratic?
We will
talk
do
and,
both.
and talk about
We have a lot to
relationship.
talk about.
They say, can you leave
What
like
is there in
what's
the
there to
democracy?
what's there
What's
to
there
celebrate?
to talk about?
Yesterday was the eve of today's show, and Joyce was not on set yesterday.
This is
Someone
an
should
attack.
boldly ask her on the show where she was or where was she.
I am researching on Nigeria's democracy. I mean, this is an attack on my
Who approved your absence for the
my
research?
general manager gave me go ahead, go and interview people on the street, go and make research of how people feel about it.
It is a great day to be a Nigerian. And this evening at 6 p.m. we are going to be having the June 12th show. It's a show that comes regularly every year on Equa Television. So you do well to sit still. We'll be very detailed later, more than we would be now, because today we don't want to deprive the lovers of their
Day.
day. If the lovers are Nigerians and they love they are practicing in Nigeria that we are celebrating democracy, then we should do a combined service.
Okay. Okay, let's begin on a lighter note. Let's start with the issue of relationship before we dive into. Meanwhile,
I think we
congratulations.
should talk small about Nigeria
Okay, before
and then
going
give
to
the rest of it, because if you say we should talk small, you will check time now, it will be 12.
okay. So let's begin with Nigeria democracy at 2025. Earlier, I listened to the president's democracy day speech, and quite encouraging. But you know, to a lot of Nigerians out there, we want to see it like how do you translate all these promises and what you hope to do to the common man on the streets? How will they benefit from all of that? Some people say, yeah, you might have put a lot of effort talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but then if it doesn't translate to anything, it means nothing to the common man, especially talking about economic policies and all of that. So, and you see the current president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was a key player June 12th crisis. And today he's the president of Nigeria. He talked about he actually acknowledged the heroes of democracy, MK Abiola, and even his wife. He also acknowledged, one thing that stands out for me is the acknowledgement of the media, because of course, the media is the fourth estate of the realm, and it plays a very vital role as far as democracy is concerned. If you recall back then, following the June 12 crisis, about 12 media outlets were actually sanctioned, and their journalists were jailed because of the role they played. But today we are celebrating democracy because they reported all that happened, and they dared not to hide the truth, but they covered it. So he acknowledged the media. He also acknowledged the fact that yes, there's economic crisis, but he's working to fix it, and he's saying that it is the work, all Nigerians' hands must be on deck to ensure that this democracy continues. And he talked about the fact that there's no other form of government that is better than democracy. I recall that following all the insecurity, the killings, people are saying, no, maybe we need help at this point. No, maybe we should go back to military rule. It seems like this democratic setting is not even working, because for some, after the election, they say, no, there's actually no need. It's just election that is actually going on. People said, we went all out to vote, but it's like it's the will of few individuals that is playing. You keep hearing people at the helms of affairs saying, be patient, things are going to work out fine. But you see them living flamboyant life, living in luxury. So it looks like the democracy is for few individuals or the elites, the political leaders perhaps. And when you look at the rundown of the allowances and incomes that senators earn, following the NLC strike, we saw all the rundown. Like, they are being paid hardship allowance, and you want to ask, is it the senators or the average Nigerian that is going through hardship? So a lot of things have gone down the line, 25 years, not just linking it to only Tinubu, but through the years that Nigeria have experienced democratic rule, though uninterrupted, because as we speak right now, there are some African countries that are under dictatorship and military rule, but we celebrate the fact that we've been having uninterrupted movement or passing of power. But then, how can the average Nigeria relate to this in terms of dividends of democracy? I've heard you over and over talk about how that the little that the common man wants, have good road, just have health facility, among other things. But why is it so difficult to have all of this in Nigeria?
Joyce, you see, firstly, Nigerians are difficult people to deal with. At the same time, Nigerians are patient people. I don't know any country in the world where all the things happening in Nigeria would happen and they will still be integrated. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't know the country. Maybe anybody watching can tell me. Believe me, I have a lot of things to say in the evening. Government is not a role played by certain individuals. Governance is the role of every human being alive in the country where that is practiced. Do you know, in my understanding, do you know what we do that is a cost, C-O-S-T, to government? There are lots of things. Why do you have Ministry of Environment? For instance, control purposes, basically. If you have people trashing out dirt appropriately, if you have people driving the correct way, if you have people that are extremely law-abiding in nature, certain government agencies will not exist. You have cut down costs of running government. Why is government always coming up with this body, that body, this organization, that organization, this board, that board, this parastatal, that parastatal? It's because people are creating these demands. We don't even know people are indirectly creating these demands. And when you create these demands, government must attend to them. How can somebody wake up in Nigeria if this refuse that you have is good or not enough for your house? Why won't you dump it in your house? Then you come to the place where government built roads and then you dump it there. It costs the government money to Take care of that. Why would you just wake up and have 100 trailers parked on a road that is busy in a particular state? Why? Let's start thinking. If we are talking about democracy and we are pointing fingers at leaders, leaders are also pointing fingers at us, but because they are politicians, they don't want to talk about it because they want to. See, we must call a spade a spade. Most of the problems that we go through in Nigeria, they are all what we have created. You sit down a second and think. Have you ever heard of tsunami in Nigeria? How many times have we had floods in Nigeria? How many times have we had all these natural disasters, earthquake, and all? We don't have these things. If you have flood, in most cases, you'll find out that it affects the areas where government said people should not build. If you have erosion, people prefer to go and buy land there because it's cheap. What do we do? Let's go and stay there. If the day the erosion comes, it takes us. But there's no. You see, I was involved with an international organization that came to talk about climate change in Nigeria. And then I found out that if we have more trees, we will control a lot of things. Our health. Look at the sicknesses that we have. Common diseases we have in Nigeria, malaria, typhoid. These two guys are very, very popular. They are more popular than anything you can think of. Hardly would you have 3 months straight in your house. Somebody did not go through one of these two things. So they are living within these things can be eradicated. But no matter the efforts of the government, we will call them back. Keep your surroundings clean. It's amazing that now government will come out to say that Saturday there is no movement between this time and this time. Stay and clean your house. Haba. We should outgrow that. I heard that a particular governor is making efforts to bring back Dubagari. It's a law enforcement agency that was called Dubagari. In those days, they enter your house, they check your toilets, they check your bathroom, they check your kitchen. Okay, Joyce was not born then. They check to see the level of your hygiene. So who should do that for you? There are people that wear clothes. They don't wash them. They keep wearing them. We are not even bothered about you. We are bothered about the other people that you are meeting with that same clothes that you have been using for 4 months.
I honestly don't want to disregard the role of citizens in all of this, because we should all be responsible. But you see, in governance, as far as democracy is concerned, there are people. Why we call it democracy is because government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And that is why constitutionally you have the right to go and vote or elect for who represents you. You see, that's another place of responsibility for the citizens, and in most cases you find some people don't take responsibility as far as election is concerned. We grumble about the people that represent us, but then when we have the time and opportunity to go and elect the right people, we don't go out, and that's another part of negligence.
Joyce, who is the right person?
The person that is competent for the position or whatever seat
we have seen that times without number in Nigeria. The right person goes and meets a system that is beyond his control. What would the right person do?
You should advocate for change.
That
you
is
should
the
be
issue.
the change.
Who will bring about the change? It's human beings. Except you have set up AI everywhere. Commissioner of Health, AI. Robot. SGS, robot. Chief of Staff, robot. Everybody, robot. Is it possible in Nigeria's democracy? The executive governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb Mutfwang, I was at an event on Sunday, and he said, things are happening in my government, I'm not even aware. Before he spoke, a governor, Lalong, spoke. The former governor of Plateau State, Lalong, spoke. He said, Your Excellency, a lot of things happen in my administration. I'm not aware. Even in this your administration, a lot of things are happening. I am aware. I'm sure you are not aware. So if you want, I will tell you. And then the governor stood up and said, even me, you cannot know everything that is happening. He said that he has taken 20 people per local government to train them in something I can't remember, but 20 per local government. How many local governments do we have on the plateau? 14, right? 17. So times 20. He said he doesn't know one person out of these 20 from each local government. He doesn't know anybody. So if you think government is not, we sit down and we keep saying the governor of this state, of course, he's the chief accounting officer. He's responsible. So that means his eyes should be on the credible people that he has elected so that they can think the same way he does. I once asked one governor one time, I said, Your Excellency, you are saying this, you are saying that. Do the people working under you have this same mentality? He was quiet for a while, and I'm sure he started thinking what criteria was used to bring in this to bring these guys. You know, because you must have forward thinking, not only forward thinking people. You can be forward in this direction, the governor is forward in that direction. What do you do? Joyce, honestly, most of the things in Nigeria, they are more systemic than they are a personality issue. We have had great people who want to do stuff. We have had presidents in Nigeria that a lot of people have to go for them to participate, to perform well. How many people do we want to be going every day for us to perform? The moment today, Joyce, believe me, the moment you said, this place, it is a road, is meant to be a road. But that road is somebody's bathroom, is somebody's toilet, is somebody's living room, because the road is blocked. The day you want to say, you want to clear and do demolition, it is the same poor people that will say you don't have pity for humanity.
And that's what is happening right now on the plateau. Because I engage with some people that, because of this just master plan review that they are doing, trying to see that they maintain law and order, and then the master plan is being maintained. You know, already there's a town planning, and there are certain places that certain things are not supposed to be there.
Yes.
But because of negligence and lack of willpower of some of our leaders.
Sir,
because
Plateau suffers this thing more than any other state.
Yes, sir.
Look at all the rocks on the plateau. Climate change has been affected. People are building all the way to the tip of the highest, the pinnacle of these rocks.
Yes. I remember.
Why? Who allocated this?
I remember.
Look at the race course.
It's
It's his houses now.
Honestly.
And somebody came, and I heard somebody on Ray Power precisely. No, not Ray Power, I beg your pardon. JFM. I'm sorry. Yes, precisely. Somebody was saying on JFM that he was a caller. He said the government, a particular government, approved all of these R of O, C of O's for people to build there. Yes. If government have given you C of O to build, nobody can take you out. Nobody can come and bulldoze you out of that place, because government gave you approval. It is the same government that is coming back to say this was a road, or this was an industrial area, or this was. See, let's not be talking about democracy every day, and it is about the people that are leading us. What is our own role?
You just spoke about a government giving C of O, and then another government coming in. So it means that the government that gave it did wrong.
Joyce,
because it's not the person that went and cut that portion of the land. And
why did I tell you that most of these things are systemic? It's because anybody that comes, he's looking at, okay, somebody said, majority of my vote came from XYZ zone. This side did not vote me. This side did not vote me. So they don't expect anything. Sir, when you become a governor, the state is your responsibility, regardless of who voted. Yeah. Why would you think that way as a leader? That's why I told you a lot of things are systemic, because a lot of people have imbibed that as a policy. But we are seeing a lot of people today that are disregarding that mentality. They are telling you that, look, this place is part of our state. We must develop it. This place is part of our state, whether they voted us or not.
No, not.
I would like us to speak to the liberty that is embedded in democracy, and I would like to ask Shamima this.
Are you sure we'll talk about this love today?
We would. You know, embedded in democracy is liberty, access to people should be able to like express themselves, and that was what the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, said at the symposium ahead of the 25th democracy in Nigeria. He talked about the fact that there is need for this government to give people that access to express themselves. Like the government need to allow people. We are not in a dictatorship regime where you have to control, or when people talk you just jail them and all of that. And he actually spoke very well about the fact that we need to move away from these politics of region and religion and ensure that the voice of the people is actually heard. What do the people need? They just need evidence of democracy. Let's have access to education, infrastructure. Let the people enjoy like democratic rule. Let them like be able to curb issues around insecurity. And he highlighted a lot of issues. But you see, I've had people over and over again like blame some of these international organizations like IMF, World Bank, and talking about how that they have enslaved Nigeria as a country. And I was reminiscing or thinking about some of the projects that I've seen, even in some of the rural area, that is being attributed to World Bank or some of this international organization. And I was just thinking to myself, so how did we get it wrong? If we're seeing projects or even blocks, classroom blocks that is being attributed to some of these people, how have they enslaved us? Is it actually them that enslaved us, or we enslaved ourselves? Because some are saying we are just claiming to be democratic, but in practice we are actually not democratic. And all this is tied to corruption or corrupt leaders. Because at the end of the day, money is being given. Even if we say they are using money, they are lending money to Nigeria and using it to enslave us, influencing our policies and all of that, why do we still go back to these people even after knowing that, at the end of the day our policies are being influenced? It's because some set of people like are enjoying the money. They collect loans for certain projects, and at the end of the day they like share the money amongst themselves, or they siphon the money. You hear nothing about it. Recently we're hearing how that billions are being siphoned. Some governors now are under watch and investigation because of revelation about how billions went out of the state account without any due process and all of that. So I want you to speak to the issue of corruption and corrupt practices, because embedded in democracy is liberty. Let equality in terms of distribution of the wealth, regardless of your social class or the level that you are at the ladder. So speak to us on that.
Well, I think we enslave ourselves. This is not about pointing fingers, because before you point a finger at someone, you should check yourself. That's why it is always said that you remove the log in your eye before you would be able to tell someone to remove his. Before these leaders get to that position, they were once citizens as well, and they paved their way through where they are. Now, as citizens, you find people doing corrupt practices in every way. Any little opportunity one gets for himself, he's trying to extort from someone, he's trying to downgrade someone, he's trying to get his own pound of flesh before he would leave there, because he is feeling, okay, once I'm out of here, I won't see any other opportunity as this, so I pack as much as I can, something that even my next generation will not be able to finish spending. I want to just pack and leave there. So we're enslaving ourselves in the long run. By the time I become a leader with this kind of mindset, there's nothing I would not do. There's no turning around. So instead of saying people are enslaving us because of corruption, look at yourself. What have you done? Someone with a little position as a security man, he wants to just make his territory unbearable for others that are not up to his position. So imagine if this person gets a bigger position tomorrow, what do you think he would do? So based on this corruption issue, I think we are the one enslaving ourselves by ourselves. If in your own little position you can change your mindset and begin to do things rightly, by the time you get to a certain position, it will be easier for you to be able to tell others and show others. It's not about do what I say, don't do what I do. What you're saying is matching what you are doing, and people are seeing it. And trust me, people would follow what you do as well.
All right, as we look ahead of the next 25 years have gone, but we set the pace from today. So, like, what do we need to do as a nation? Because democracy is about the people, is about getting things right. Like, I mean, we have elections after 4 years, we hold elections. And at the end of the day, you see a lot of litigations, a lot of issues that still draw us back. There are governors today that are still struggling to even perform or do what is needful because of one issues or the other. So how do we get things right in terms of election? Because it's the right of the people to go there and pick or vote for who would represent them. In terms of corruption right now, there are a lot of cases around corruption. How do we deal with that so that we don't go back? You see situations where people are being denied what they should have because somebody decided, I know my family alone needs it more than the whole citizens of the state. So how do we deal with that? And then for other African countries that are being faced with issues around dictatorship and military coup, is because the people have gotten to a point that we can no longer take all these issues around systemic corruption, issues around people not enjoying what they should, like the least that the government should do for them, they are not doing it. Yet you see children of politicians, people that are holding powers, praying dollars at parties and all of that, while people are struggling to feed. And because of that, in some countries, they decided we need to take over power by force. So Nigeria at some point was like, there are rumors about coups, and we thank God that we are not there again. But what do we need to do individually and also as government? Like, what do we need to do to ensure that we don't go back? I heard the president saying, no, democracy is the best form. Let people have say in terms of what happens to them or what happened in their country. So what do we need to do? Not just the government or political leaders now, but even as citizens, what do we need to do so we don't go back to military era where we have a lot of issues around dictatorship? What do we need to do to curb issues around corruption? What do we need to do to have elections that are going to be free and fair?
Play your role. Play your role. That is the best that you can do. Whatever is above you is above you. But play your role. You should not be found wanting for anything. I know a lot of people get discouraged that, okay, they go cast their vote, and then at the end of the day, certain key people will sit down and decide. Still play your role. At the end of the day, you have done your own part. Yes, I think you should just
Joyce,
play.
do you think if the military comes back, anything will be better?
There's nothing more than freedom.
Joyce, let me know. It's not even, that is not the angle I am looking at. When you don't deal with people's mentality, even if God comes down himself, we will still be where we are as a nation. You see, people have taken laws into their hands just because somebody has become irresponsible.
Yeah.
It is wrong. What is your own part? I will always say, look happy. Do what you do for money. Get the money and forget what is happening in the nation. How much, and this is a question, how much has our complaining...
I mean, it's difficult to forget what is happening in the nation when I'm being taxed.
but how much has our complaining contributed to the growth or the economy of the nation? How has it changed things?
You know, this government is a listening government to some extent.
Joyce, nothing can be done. If rice is 500 naira a measure, right? Or 75,000 a bag, how much is a bag?
I think
86.
86,000 a bag. You know, Solo used to buy bags. I
said what?
He buy bags of rice. I buy it in trucks. So yes.
I thought you were about to say buy it in Mudu.
No, that's how these people behave. I just order a truck and then they keep it. That's
you should invite us when they are offloading.
No, don't worry. That's how I buy it. I buy it in bulk, in quantity. No, what Mudu is quantity now? Can you count?
I'm going to start staying at your gate too.
But you see, no matter how you complain, if rice is 500 now and next week it will be 700, no matter how you complain to get to that 700.
Yes.
Nigerians shouted about the removal of subsidy. Right? It was the same Nigerians that shouted when there was subsidy but the fuel price increased a little. We saw the powers that be in this nation joining poor people for the first time to block streets in Nigeria.
And
What does that tell you?
And there was immediate reversal.
What does that tell you, Joyce? It tells you that if I'm in government today and I'm your friend and they are our enemies, no matter what we build, if we build 1,000-story building, they will complain that why did we paint it green instead of white? No, it's not that the structure is not good. Why is that color of the paint? Why should it be that color of paint? Nigerians will always be Nigerians. There are things that this administration, this present Tinubu-led administration, there are things they are doing. Everybody is shouting. There were things other people did that people seem comfortable with. Let me bring your mind to something. Tinubu's predecessor was who?
Muhammadu Buhari.
As Christians, how many representatives did we have in his administration? And he led us that way for 8 years. But we fought the Muslim ticket more than we did what Buhari did to us as Christians. Because Christians were not included in his government. Every security head was a Muslim. Except places like CBN and a few other places that will not be of any help to the Christian community. Let's be truthful. But we fought the Muslim ticket like with everything. Now look at it today. The minister of the FCT, what religion is he? He's a Christian. The SGF, what is he? He's a Christian. Secretary to Government of he's a Christian. And we have other people, you know all these things. But why are we quiet? You see why I told you that certain things are systemic. And the earlier we stop listening to people, the better our democracy becomes. Solo is looking for contract from Buhari's administration. He didn't get. He insulted the hell out of Buhari. He came to this administration. He said, let me try. They gave him one contract. We are not resting. We are not resting. That is how Nigerians are. So don't be in a hurry to join somebody that is insulting a leader. Find out constructively what is the rationale behind this insult.
If he's praising him, what's the rationale behind it?
He doesn't have access to the government, or they did road, he didn't follow his house, or something. But really, if you say the government, they are not doing anything, constructively tell us why. Recently, Tinubu came out and said, I think I shared it yesterday on Today's Live, but I'm sharing it again. Tinubu came out and said, I am generating income at a national level. And I'm sending the money to your state, to different states. Ask your governors what they are doing with the money. We should not be calling Tinubu everything we say federal government, everything we say federal. What is happening to the state government? Whatever, all the trillions you hear that comes in, it's the states that are sharing it. You have federal allocation, you have subvention, you have security vote, you have all of this intervention from federal government coming to the state. So today, if we wake up and we say the policy is changed, there is nobody getting a dime from federal government. Then the state government will have to start looking within. They have to start looking within. What are you saying? And looking within, will you raise the money that you have been seeing before the policy was stopped? So let us be constructive. And I know I sound like a government agent now, right now. But honestly, we should start looking at things differently. Like you said from the beginning of your of the presentation, you said it's a collective process to run government. I'm just paraphrasing. You don't have that. So it's a.
Hey.
Joyce, you know that I love you, man.
I know.
Okay, you believe too.
I saw it in my dream.
It's yet to be a reality. It's fine. But honestly, Joyce, there's what is called inclusivity.
Sure.
If we want the governor of Plateau State to succeed, what is the support that we are giving him as people? If we want Tinubu to succeed, what is the contribution that we are giving him the support we are giving him as Nigerians. If we want the governor of Gombe to succeed, how are we supporting
him.
his policies as right now? I don't want to sound like an agent of government, but believe me, since I grew up and I'm seeing the antecedents of government and I know what life is, the more I grow, I am thinking this is one of the best policies we have ever had in Nigeria. It's just so unfortunate that the policies are coming such a time as this.
And they are taking long.
And they are taking long because choice. How can you be in a relationship where you are beaten, legs broken, arms broken, one eye broken, and suddenly you found a different person? We have detached that person from your life, and we have attached you to another person. You are walking like this, and then we say overnight
Which of the joys?
you start walking straight like this. No, that eye that is gone, forget it. Oh. They plucked it from the previous relationship. This relationship can only give you either, what do they call that thing that they used to cover? You have to cover it. That is the state of Nigeria now. There are certain things that this administration cannot upturn. And we have to
in 8
live.
years,
But
they can
forever,
start.
Joyce. Forever.
But what do you think about them starting and then
No,
we have continuity?
that is why you have. I'm not in government, but from what I see, what I hear, and what I read every day, these are the policies. Have you been to Abuja recently?
Yeah.
Have you seen what the FCT minister, has done to the roads in Abuja? Right now, the International Conference Center is closed. He said that conference center should not be in Abuja. Somewhere we are seeing as, wow, this edifice. He said it shouldn't be in Abuja. This is too old. So they have shut down the International Conference Center. They are renovating it. So these are the things that give people hope. But you know, the poor man, what we want to see is make rice 100 naira.
Yes.
Then we know that you are working. Right now, we have serious food crisis in this country. And it's something that the government, I think with these few points of mine, let me sit back and rest.
I mean, you
And
just
that's
made a
because of
very
the,
vital point at the end.
depreciation of currency.
You see, we keep hearing government saying we are strategizing. What the poor man is looking at is the figures. Look at inflation. Look at exchange rate.
This
look
is
at
what I
petrol
think.
price.
This
look
is what
at
I
diesel.
think as an individual. Just have a regulatory body that will control the price of everything instead of floating it. That is the only place where I blame this government. Don't float everything. Have a control. Nobody sells bag of rice in Nigeria above 30,000 naira. You have agencies of government that are in charge of all of these things. You have Nigeria Standard Organization, SON. You have film regulatory. Every body in Nigeria has a regulatory body as well. If you are talking about film production, they have a regulatory body. If you are talking about cinema, they have a regulatory body. If you are talking about products, food products, and you have Standard Organization of Nigeria, if you are talking, you have all of these bodies. You put them to work.
Solo, 1 minute. He wants to say something about. Yeah, we need to advise those people in relationship because a lot of people have.
Can't they just bear with us till next week?
Okay, it's fine. But Sambo Solomon, speak to us about
He has been
the
so
way
marginalized
forward.
on this
Yes.
show.
Speak to us about the way forward.
He looks like he's
You
not
know, Sambo
bothered.
Solomon has always been the politician, the pastor, the what, or the theologian, all on
Evangelist.
this set. When he talks, it is. Go ahead.
Well, you asked a vital question. What do we do? I think every Nigerian should be patriotic. It's that simple. Know the right thing, do the right thing. Because, yes, we know there are factors that compel you, that force you, that give you other suggestions to do otherwise. And that is why we have government policies that will force you to do otherwise. Because sometimes some of the policies is either you are being genuine or you are being biased. You are being self-centered. That generates the reaction. So some people, the policies are good, but are not favoring them. But because they know it's the right thing, they are patriotic. Some people, they are not with the government. The government are not doing what is right. But what they are doing that is not right is favoring them. They are comfortable. That's not being patriotism. That's not being patriotic. Being patriotic is to know that you have a role to play in building your nation. 25 years, now we are celebrating uninterrupted democracy. Yes, we know we have
I
our
thought you were
own
going
share.
to say power supply. You know when you hear uninterrupted,
Interrupted.
it's power supply
It's
that
power
comes to
supply.
your mind.
I would have just
I
shouted no.
I wish.
No,
But I know.
it depends on your band.
But
But even some
And
of
what-
the band that were enjoying the power supply,
beginning to
they are beginning to fluctuate.
Is systemic.
So we're deceived.
No, it's systemic. They are working on it.
so you see, because it's a win-win thing, and you see, you can't separate governance from people, because you are governing people, so you have a responsibility. Yesterday I said something. You are called to make impact. If you understand that, whether the system is working or is not working, you are called to be positive. You understand that, you stand out. Because once you know you are not called to join crowd, then that will save you. Whether you are in leadership or you are in the crowd, in the masses. That's what I mean. Because if I belong to the masses and what is going on, I can only complain where it's not favoring me. But I will still remain focused and do the right thing. I maintain that track and I continue to do until the Almighty God answered my prayer and turned things around. Because He's Almighty, He can do it. He turns the heart of Pharaoh to do otherwise. He turns the heart of men. So no matter the kind of leaders you have, your responsibility, number one, as a Christian, you are to pray for them. Are we praying for them? He that knows what to do that is right, refuse to do, is counted as a sin. So if you are a Christian, you are neglecting the place of prayers for your leaders. Already you are sinning. So we are asked, they didn't say you should pray for Christian leaders. No. They say pray for your leaders. Because your prayers, that is what God will answer and will change the narrative. So are we praying? Where you say is earlier that everybody plays a vital role in growing. So one of the role of the masses is to pray for the leaders. It's because we curse our leaders and our leaders are doing otherwise. So it's a result of what we are praying for our leaders that we are getting. So we need to change this mentality. You talk about mentality. What is your mentality towards your calling and towards the people that are leading you? Do you want to pray for them if they are not doing the right thing, so that they will do the right thing, so that while they do the right thing, it will affect you and change your way and the pattern of life? That enjoyment that you want is your prayers that will make you wake up and say, no, I think my people are suffering. This part that I'm touring, no, it won't work. And you will say, no, I changed this policy to be this. And then you will see it favoring you. Not because you do anything, not because you can go and drag him. Because if you protest, where you go to the gate, they will not allow you to even see him. Some of us, the only privilege we have is to wait for them when they are passing with their siren.
As much as Sambo Solomon, as much as I'm not against praying for leaders, because
Yes.
I mean that's the call to all Christians for us to pray for our leaders. But there are situations that you need to take responsibility. We can't visualize everything.
Yes,
Think
you see,
about it when voting is going on and you're
wait,
praying.
you see, that's what
Think about it when you have a bad leader. You go the next election, you don't go out to vote, and
You-
then you allow the
But
person
the,
come
okay.
to you.
the
So you want to
prayer
keep
comes,
praying and
anti-choice.
No,
The prayer comes before you vote. And when the person is voted, whether rightly or wrongly, if the
Prayer
person is
continues.
pronounced a leader, the prayer must continue.
the prayer must continue. But still,
It's not to sit down and not vote and pray. No. I get that is your point. Don't sit down
and do
not
nothing.
vote, not participate in anything, and then you start criticizing and say, I'm not going to pray for anybody, or you that's the point, you want to pray for things to be right.
and then you see, there's what we call willpower. Because things are going wrong, is the system. What is your calling before you go to the system? If you are a Christian and you find yourself as a politician, you are there to make impact, not to join the system. I think our Christian politicians should know this. Because most of them refuse to perform or they compromise simply because they give
That's
excuse
what
that the
has been
system
happening.
is not good. That's not your calling. Your calling is to go and make impact. When even the system is not working, what is your impact? Some of them we can't see. When you go, they will say the system is not working, so that's why you can't see anything. I feel it is very key, it is very important to know that if you are elected or you are appointed, you know that God gives power. But you should not forget your calling. That you are supposed to do for the masses, you should do it. Look at it now. Okay, I know what Mutfwang is doing. Some masses are crying simply because some government that did wrong thing allow them to stay where they are not supposed to stay and romance them simply because someone somewhere that the governor doesn't know, like you rightly said. He says some things happen in his government that he don't know. It's because some people in the name of government, they are collecting money from masses, telling the masses that is from the government. All these people that have bachas around, some people are cashing
Very
out
true.
there.
Yes.
The governor don't know.
The governor of Plateau State once said,
Yeah.
anybody that is collecting money for any revenue is a criminal. He said it at NIPS. I remember he said it at NIPS during the retreat between him and his commissioners and some political appointees. He said it is not they are not sent from Plateau.
Okay, now, yesterday I went to the market. These guys that are chasing people not to sell on the road, the masses now are complaining that some of the things that they collect from them is not going to where they said the government say
But
it should go.
you see the point
So-
is this kind of people,
Mm,
they are desperate to make money. So they will give anything
To anybody.
at whatever cost it is, just so that they can stand there and sell. But these are all illegal places to trade.
But what I'm trying to say, sir,
Even their own risk. That is a market. That's a road.
sir, what I'm trying to say, all of them are doing the wrong thing. But government give you your trust, and he came about a committee that will handle that. And then they are the people that you are collecting things because they are doing the wrong thing. They are seeing you doing the wrong thing. I don't think they are representing the governor well.
No, they are not.
It's something that they should check.
No, they are
Because
not.
doing that will make the people not to even do the right thing. Because they will tell you, even the people that are enforcing us not to do this, they are collecting our things and they are going.
I think people just make press releases in writing, and then that is it. You have to ensure, because you see, why do you have law enforcement agencies? So that when you talk as a governor, they pick it up and they start implementing. But you know what people do? Let him be there as governor and be talking. Let them not bring fuel money. They will see who go and do the work for them. This is what I'm saying. It's all inclusive.
That is the
You
point.
know, if the governor is saying something, what is the police hearing?
Yes.
What is civil defense hearing? What is Nigerian prisons hearing? What are the lawyers hearing? Because if you are not law abiding, the governor of a state has spoken. This is something we have agreed in the legislature. You know, you have 3 arms of government. So the House of Assembly have agreed that this is what we are doing. Once the governor announces that, everybody is supposed to swing into action. But in Nigeria today, the people that are insulting the governor are the people that are waiting for governor to send money for fuel and something. They say something. Send something so that we can go and do our work. Meanwhile, we are still paid
Pay
for what we do.
salary. I think democracy, like we know, it's
Solo, we don't have anything more to say in this show.
Thank you. It's a great perspective, you see. But we need to understand that democracy is the theory that the common people know what they want and also deserve it. But inclusivity is actually important, and taking responsibility. We all need to be patriotic. Think about a country where all the citizens are patriotic. Then the Nigeria we want, the Nigeria of our dream, will definitely come to pass. Not just about pointing fingers and having expectation while in your own cubicle you're not doing what is expected. The change we desire actually starts from us. I like the fact that we've come a long way. 25 years of uninterrupted democracy. If we had gone back to where we were before, maybe military regime, none of us would have. Like, we can't tell where we would have been today. But we at least we have a voice, since we can decide that this is who we want to vote, this is who we want to represent us. I hear a lot of times people say that, oh, your vote will not count, your vote will not count. And I say, if it will not count, why are the politicians coming to you with salt? Why are they coming to you with money? So you have a responsibility. Your power, the change that you desire is in your hands. Don't be deceived. People do that. It's also a strategy of discouraging you from coming out to vote. We have the freedom, we have the liberty. And like I said, on the part of our government, beyond the promises, Nigerians want to see it in reality. Like, they are asking question, how long do we have to wait? We hear we are committed to how long? We hear issues around, oh, we are strategizing, but see figures that are at stake. People are paying for it. People are suffering. A lot of people have gone into things that they should not to go into. In fact, I'm not making excuse for people's failure, but I think that we all have role to play. People at the helms of affairs must rise up to their responsibility. We can't continue giving excuses. Like, the system can be so deteriorated that you feel like there's nothing I can do. Like, you can find yourself in a system that everybody is against you. It almost looks like there's nothing you will do. But let the change start with you.
See,
even if it's just 4 years. You know, sometimes we think of, even if I start, I will not finish it. Oh, even if I start, they will be against me. They will kick me out. So let me just dance to the tune. Let me just compromise. You know, there's another saying, he who pays the pipers dictates the tune. So, and that is why we're complaining about IMF, World Bank, World Trade Organization, and all of those people that are giving us loan. But they pay the piper and they dictate the tune. So if we don't want that, we should take responsibility. Let's be deliberate. Why would you go and borrow money and eat the money? Tomorrow you have to go and borrow again because there's project. You need your people to believe in you. You need your people to still vote you again. So we must take responsibility. We must understand that it is about the common man on the streets. Like, we've so made our democracy look like it's just about some few set of people. You see things revolving around them and their families. And that is why I said politicians must make sure that they represent true democracy. Let's see it in their action. Let it be that you're representing the electorate. We should not see your children flaunting money and big cars and then you're telling the people to be patient, to endure. We should not see you sharing billions. We should not see you siphoning and then billions of naira traveling up and about, and you're telling the common man that cannot feed 2 square meal a day, please be patient. That's not the democracy that our heroes fought for. They needed freedom. They wanted us to be able to have a voice. And that is the democracy we so desire. Like Engineer Tony like you said, is a collective responsibility. And it begins with us. The kind of people we vote into power. We determine the policies that will be taken, and at the end of the day, the impact in our own lives. So you see, it's like a circle. It's like a circle, but the circle begins with you and I. So it's not even from the government. It begins with you and I. If we are deliberate about our actions, then at the end of the day, we get leaders that are going to speak to the democracy that our founding fathers
You talk about being deliberate. Quickly, let me say this. Wike is being deliberate. Handling his office. There's nothing they didn't say. There's no any gang up from the north to the south. In fact, some people say that position is their own.
Is their right.
Is their right. And let me tell
As
you,
though Wike is not a Nigerian.
and let me
shocked me when I heard that.
Let me tell you, since we are talking 25 years, 25 years of abundant project that he don't even know how they came about. Now he's fixing them.
He has fixed them.
He has fixed
Look
them.
at the roads.
Do you get
there are roads that have not been completed?
Abundant roads.
American embassy, that road is completed. The bridges, everything is completed.
Abundant road from the first Obasanjo to Yaradua to Gullo to Buhari to who again? Okay, to Tinubu.
That's the last two.
That's the last. And
That's the last two.
And he said he has vowed that he will not kick any project without having the money ready. And he said any project he kickstart, he will finish it because the money is intact. He has raised the money. That means he has a willpower. That's what we are talking. If they give
People
you an
that are
office,
determined.
they are determined. And look at it now. People are planning that road. They are happy. But it's not everybody that is happy. But at least we are seeing the drive for our politicians. Those that have sense, they are doing the right thing.
Very true. Our time is actually fast spent. Thank you all. But what is more important is that we need a nation. We need a Nigeria where everybody have a voice. We need a nation where equal opportunity abounds. And it's also important that we don't hand over a deteriorating process or a democracy where we turn the politics to a do or die system. We must deal with that factor as well. And like the former president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan said, it is important that we have infrastructure. It is important that the common man, the children in those rural areas, we have quite a number of children that are out of school. They should have access to school. They should have access to education. I mean, quality education, because we have a lot of dilapidated structures in the name of schools. And that is why a lot of people don't want to take their children to government school, because it's so dilapidated and not secure, and no wonder they are prone to kidnappings and all of that. So we want access to education, access to facilities, and all these issues around litigations. If people have the right to vote for who represent them, at the end of the day, we should not be having litigations and a lot of back and forth in the court. So issues around litigations must be curbed, and the political class, like I emphasized earlier, must lead by example. You don't just tell people this and then you are not doing it. Lead by example. Make sure that you represent the people that actually vote for you. And we should have a model of democracy that is all inclusive. When we have a model of democracy that is all inclusive, I think we will not, most of the conflicts that we have will not abound. Because if everybody has a say and everybody has equal opportunity, despite or regardless of your social class, then we will not have any need to fight. Most of these agitations in the South, in the West, secessionists and all of that is because people feel left out. People feel we are not included. And that's why I say, if that is the case, then let us have our own governance or our own freedom or our own system of power. But I tell you, conflict will not end. Even if you are given your own government, it will not end. I think it will be the beginning again of another, because another local government is saying, oh, we want. Another tribe is saying, oh, we want. And I tell you, it's going to be a different ball game. But we should be united. Let's walk in line with the effort. We should not disregard the effort of our heroes of democracy, those that fought for this nation to be united, to be free, to have liberty. So I really appreciate all of you for your perspective on today's life. It's been amazing. It's Democracy Day. Thank you. And please don't forget to join later 6 p.m. for an in-depth analysis on Nigeria's democracy at 25 with engineer Tony J. Nakali. You don't want to miss this. Thank you so much. Happy Democracy Day as we continue to look ahead and fight for freedom, liberty, and inclusivity. We'll come your way later with another package on Nigeria's democracy at 25. Bye-bye.